All right, well, that is concluding the court proceedings, at least from the arguments side of the case. The court will shortly adjourn. Judges, of course, just concerned about the electoral timetable before they then make a decision in terms of when a judgment will then be, delivered, but also saying that they will consider granting an order given the dynamics that need to happen, of course, before the 29th May election, and not wanting to interfere with the work of the IEC. Well, just to bring you up to speed, of course, that is the case of the Umkhonto WeSizwe Party with the IEC. At pains there, you saw the Umkhonto WeSizwe Party's legal representative, Advocate Dali Mpofu, arguing that declaring the former president, Jacob Zuma, ineligible to stand for public office is a violation of his rights, but also a violation of millions of potential voters that support the Umkhonto WeSizwe Party. A lot of technical matters discussed here, including sentencing versus, time spent in prison. We'll unpack that with a legal expert. But of course, as you saw those developments happening inside court, we also have movement outside of court. Supporters of the Umkhonto WeSizwe Party braving the wet and cold weather conditions, gathering outside the court there to show support for the former president, Jacob Zuma. Our reporters, in fact, are both inside and outside court. Let's now take you outside court, where Natasha Phiri is standing outside the Gauteng High Court in Johannesburg. Natasha, thank you so much for your time. Of course, we know that as these proceedings are wrapping up, there's been a lot of movement outside court. Just talk to us about what's happening there.
Definitely, Unati, there has been a lot of movement outside courts. Earlier on, when we got here, around 7 supporters were here, still braving, like you said, the cold weather and the rain, seemingly not deterred. I mean, there were so many instances where it was raining, but supporters were still found here chanting their songs, singing and actually dancing in the rain. We do understand that the former president, Jacob Zuma, will be making his way not so long, just outside here. And of course, he'll be addressing members of the party from this very van, Unite. And of course, these MK supporters very eager to hear what the president has to say. And I mean, they've been very confident, saying that they hope and they think that they actually will win this very case against the IEC. But what's important to note is that tomorrow is a very critical day, Unati. The 9th of April is when the Electoral Court needs to make a decision on all these matters. So it's not only, the former president, Jacob Zuma's bid that was actually heard at the Electoral Court. You have other political parties like the Labour Party, like Ace Magashula's party, like Operation Dudula, and some other parties that have actually took their plight to the Electoral Court, complaining about the portal and the online system that was actually used to upload their candidate list on the system. So we expect the Electoral Court to come back to us about that. Furthermore, the 10th of April, Wednesday, is also very important because that is when the IEC will be then publishing the final candidate list, which then in turn will be the ballot paper that South Africans will be voting on come the 25th of May. Remember, this time around we have 3 ballots. It's the national, it's those the regional, and of course it's the provincial ballots. And of course the first ballot paper will be a 2-column ballot paper. These are just some things to actually note that are important to South Africans. But let me just gauge the sentiments and the mood of the people here outside courts. Mama Gunjani? Former President Jacob Zuma. You've come here to support the former president?
Yes.
Wow, support again.
Ngoba ngifuna ukuthi abuse lelizwe lethu. Alilungise njengoba limoshakela. Yes. No, owangena ngo-2017 walimosha. 2018 walibolisa, ubolile nje.
Mama, you've been outside courts from Exen Mubonile. Imvula beyinetha bewulokujayiva la estrasini. Are you confident about this case today?
Yeah, yabona manje. Hayi siyawina. Futhi ngiyazi sesiwinile, sesithathile. Uyahamba umsholozi uyaphatha.
Angawini kusasa enkantolo.
Angeke ahlala ngawini. Uyawina noma kanjani. Funa uZuma azosiphathela iSouth Africa seyibolile. Akusesiyona South Africa esiyaziyo.
Mama uzwile ukuthi Mutheni, she's very confident ukuthi kusasa the electoral courts will actually rule in the favor of the MK party when uthini.
Nami ngisho kanjalo ngithi nje thina iMK sizowina sewathatha la election siyabusa la eSouth Africa izwe lethu leli lebuya kithi.
Yes, siyabonga mama. We'd like to try get other voices as we see if the former president is actually walking out of court. I do see some movement there, some leaders of the party just making their way outside of court, and of course we do anticipate that former President Jacob Zuma will be making his way throughout those doors and will shortly be addressing members of the MK party. I'm wondering if I can talk to this gentleman. He's looking away. But are you shy? Wow, shy. Are you to see the house or support former President Jacob Zuma?
Yeah.
So what do you think the outcome of the court will be? Confident in and
Yeah.
Let me try Unite to just get more people. Mama, are you also supporters of MK? That's
Ngikhuluma manga ngoba iMK nechuphile nina beindaba.
Kodwa mama ngithi la sikhuluma nani? Okay, wena uzile la uzosupporta former President Jacob Zuma. What do you think? Are you confident of a win in this case?
Yeah, we must.
And then
I win because akantshontshanga into yomuntu. Angithi MK yehlukene kune MK ekudala. So amanye amaphathi ngena wa interviewer ukuthi why
we interview them all the time. Mama, it's not just MK, EFF, ANCDA, noma ubani. So Nati, I guess these are various views from the various supporters here outside court. If I'll just show you those visuals now, what you're seeing right now is former President Jacob Zuma walking out of court, Unati, and of course he will be making his way here to this mini podium that was actually set up for him. And there you have it, the crowd's just chanting Zuma, 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 Unati. And this is as he makes his way onto the podium to address the party supporters that have made their way here to the South Gauteng High Court. Remember, the MK, what we saw in court was the MK party and the IEC battling it out in court over the former president's candidacy's bid to stand. And it's just a bit of a hustle and bustle, so I apologize to our viewers here. We're just trying to get the best shots for you guys so we can get his full speech here on the podium. And as you see it there, former President Jacob Zuma is making his way up onto the podium. I'll just try squeeze in here past his presidential protective unit and just try stick in my mic so he can speak.
Comrades, ngaphandle kokumosha isikhathi sizonikeza ubaba wethu ugedle ihlekisa Jacob Zuma ukuthi akhulume ngesizwe sase South Africa. And sifuna ukusho siGauteng province lalelani, sifuna ukusho ukuthi akunaqala ubala kuphela lapha ngaphakathi. Siyaphela abantu sonke. Siyabonga. Sesiqedile lapha ngaphakathi. Siqedile sebengamaqamba kamanga ngoba ufuna ukuqamba manje. Okuqala nje ukuthi sekujahe ngase airport. Ngizothi nje amazwi amabili amathathu bese ngiyaphuthuma. Angazi ukuthi lelizwe lethu selinjani. IEC inomsebenzi wayo ukulungiselela ukhetho ibisilindele ukuthi iliphi iqembu eliwinayo bisi-announce lokho umsebenzi wayo uphelela lapho. Angazi ukuthi yini lebenza ukuthi bangenele umsebenzi wasephalamende ngoba kuwona wabo. Okwabo ukubala amavoti busumemeza ukuthi iliphi iqembu eliwinileyo bisibhala ke ngqi leyo party eyowina namanye asewe eParliament. Udaba lokuthi ubani ufanele ukuthi abe umongameli ixoxa eParliament, hayi IEC. Isimanga nje lesi. Yabona abantu IEC afanele ukuthi politike noma ithathe inhlangothi. Yebo baba. Abona umsebenzi wabo lo. Uyababona nje ukuthi bayeke inhlobo kaPende engenambala. Kanti futhi nalokho bebekusho kwaseParliament angazi ukuthi kuqhamukaphi ngoba i-constitution yethu ithi indlela okukhutshwa ngayo eSouth Africa ukuthi abantu abaningi bona akuyokuthatha isinqumo sabo lento okuthiwa i-majority. Mawubuza nje ukuthi eSouth Africa indlela yokubusa kwezelinjani na kuthiwa sibusa ngentando yeningi. Usho ukuthi uma iningi lithi sifuna lokhu suqedile. Akekho uzothi ngeke kwenzeke lokho ngoba kwathiwa no. Iningi uma selikhulumile umbuso wentando yeningi. Abakhuluma isingisi bathi idemocracy. Intando yabantu yona ebusayo. Ngisho kungathiwa uyabona nje mangeza umzekelo ngoba ngana nomthetho washayelwani kanje kuthiwe umuntu wabo mongameli bazokwaphela amahlandla amabili. Yebo, akakwazi ukuthi abe umongameli. Kodwa uma abantu abaningi bethe siyamfuna ubani uzophila ngoba lokho ukuthi sibusa ngentando yeningi ikumthetho sisekelo. Bangaphila kanjani? Abayazi indaba lapho. I-constitution esho njalo. Mawuya ke kunomfana wasenkandla akayiqedanga lethu what 210 akayiqedanga. Angeni mina kuleso sibalo ngoba niyiqedanga. Uma nje bangathi abantu mfana phuthuma akekho uzomvimba. Kanti phela sebayakhohlwa ukuthi angiqedanga ngakhishwa ngingakaqedi. Usenento ufana ngoyiqedela lapha. Kanti-ke nangaphezu kwalokho uhulumeni ngesikhathi ngiyilungu likakhongolose ANC angaze ngizwe kwathiwa uma usuphumile kulene iphathi enye wazakhele yakho awunalungelo loba umongameli wayo ayikho into esho njalo emthethweni abasazi lapha abasazi basizwa ngendaba ngiyabonga-ke bakwethu bengingalandi lokho bengizobonga nje ukuthi sibe khona sonke la namhlanje sizolalela leli cala belithethwa selithethiwe-ke hayi mina ngithe ngiyalalela ngibezwanga ukuthi bebethini laba basibeka icala bebebhibhidla nje into engezwakali uyabona lesingakilele lesithathu baza babhibhidla kuwo wonke ngeke basithinte yithi abanikazi bezwe yithi esifuna ukulungisa leli zwe lakithi silungisa izwe lethu asithunywe umuntu siyithume thina siyabonga ngiphuthumeke ngoba kusasa ngenkantolo emkhulu ngashiwa ibhaloni
angazi kwenzakalani where's yours
Of course, there we have it. MK leader, former President Jacob Zuma addressing his supporters outside of court, saying that if the people will it, he will stand for president. Again, obviously saying there that he was removed before his time was finished. We'll get to unpack what transpired today, both inside and outside court. But essentially, the Umkhonto WeSizwe Party's appeal case against the Electoral Commission sitting in the Gauteng High Court, concluding there, wrapping up a few minutes ago. What was, of course, worrying for the judges is that judgment will not be delivered by tomorrow. But given the dynamics as it relates to the electoral timetable, there are some concerns around that matter. As you've heard a little bit earlier on from Natasha Phiri saying that this week is a very crucial one for the Electoral Commission. As you would know, tomorrow, the 9th of April, where the Electoral Court must determine appeals relating to candidates. The Commission has to, by then, the 10th of April, publish the final list of candidates, where after certificates of candidature have to then be issued to certified candidates by the 12th of April. Then, of course, we'll start the process, or we'll see the process of the ballot paper printing starting. But we will get analysis from our reporters who are on the ground, on the scene, as well as our legal expert. Let's take a quick break at this point. Back soon.